Here's my 2018 NFL mock draft for the top 11 prospects. I'm only doing 11. I'm really looking at the quarterbacks here. And as we look here, Baker Mayfield to the Browns, Josh Rosen to the Bills, Sam Darnold to the Jets, Chubb to the Browns, Saquon Barkley to Broncos, Quentin Nelson to the Colts, Derwin James to the Bucks, Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Bears, Denzel Ward to the 49ers, Calvin Ridley to the Raiders, and Josh Allen to the Dolphins. Now, why am I doing this? Why is this mock draft a little bit unorthodox from a lot of the other ones? A lot of people do not have Baker Mayfield to the Browns. When your draft analyst that you hire, your draft guru, says that Baker Mayfield is like Brett Favre, that gives you an indication of if they trust this guy to help them with consulting in the draft. They may take that into consideration. We're gonna look at more on Baker Mayfield. That's basically who we're gonna cover. Josh Rosen. The Bills management says they want a pocket passer. So that was a little kind of odd that they would say that and be specific like that. It seems that's the way they're going. They got rid of Tyrod Taylor. And the two guys that they have for quarterback on their roster, A.J. McCarron and their fifth round quarterback from last year's draft. He's not a running quarterback. He's a pocket quarterback. Nathan Peterman, that's who he is. Sam Darnold, he's the safest QB prospect left. Out of the big four, other than Josh Allen. Well, he's not safe, that's what I'm saying. His inaccuracy. So I have Jets getting Sam Darnold. Chubb to the Browns. Coach dreams of pairing with Myles Garrett. And I think, there's good value in drafting a defensive end because it can be kind of expensive. Mario Williams had the biggest defensive contract when he was signed with the Bills. Saquon Barkley, why not help out your new quarterback? So he can run and catch. I think that'll take pressure off of QB there they have. Quentin Nelson helped protect Andrew Luck. And let's see, Derwin James is one of the most athletic players in the draft. Minkah Fitzpatrick is like a Swiss Army knife guy. Does a lot of he plays safety, cornerback, and different safeties. Strong safety, whatever. Denzel Ward is a consensus best cornerback in the draft. Calvin Ridley. The Raiders got rid of Crabtree and replaced him with Jordy Nelson. So as long as his personality checks out, I think the Raiders will draft him. I haven't really looked into his personality, though, how that meshes with John Gruden. Josh Allen with the Dolphins. Could be an upgrade from Jay Cutler, who they paid $10 million for. So I see that as a no-brainer. There's a few other quarterbacks that could be drafted, particularly Lamar Jackson. But I don't think with the quarterbacks that they have on the roster that that's who they would choose. Okay, so let's get rid of this. And we're going to go in the video. We're going to talk about Baker Mayfield. And let the fun begin. This was in December 10th of last year. So let's check this out. And the ESPN Insider guy, his name Adam Scheffner. You're going to hear some interesting things that he has saying here.
I will guarantee you right now, Baker Mayfield is going in the first round of the draft, and I will bet you he goes higher than people think. They love his competitive spirit. To you right now, Baker Mayfield is going in the first round of the draft, and I will bet you he goes higher than people think. They love his competitive spirit. They love all the skills that he brings, the flexibility that he provides. He's drawing comparisons to Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, same stature, not real big. But what's interesting to me, and here's what's always funny, I've had at least 3 teams say to me, the quarterback we really love is Baker Mayfield. Wow. And when I start hearing that,
with Rosen and the idea of Darnold there.
I'm telling you, when I start hearing that, that tells me that that guy is going to go higher than people expect. Carson Wentz, in his last year at North Dakota State, I started hearing from GNs in September, oh, we have a sleeper. And that we're going to be able to get in the 2nd or 3rd round that we love. And then you hear from another team, and all of a sudden, Carson Wentz becomes the 2nd pick in the draft. I'm just telling you, it reminds me of that right now, the stuff you hear about Baker Mayfield. Everybody says, guy I really like. I know everyone's talking about Rosen and Darnold and Josh Allen. I really like Baker Mayfield.
All right, so let's go. We're going to do look at the time on this. It's not as quite December 10th of last year, March 4th, 2018, so fairly recently, comparatively.
Wrongly considering if they do in fact take best player available, then this would leave them with potentially taking a quarterback at number 4, and as Mike Garafolo has reported, Baker Mayfield is someone they like a lot. He hates the comparisons to Johnny Manziel. He may have to get used to it, but it is very clear he's put himself in a position that Manziel was never in, which is maybe going in the top 5.
Well, that is interesting. Baker Mayfield potentially at 4. There have been reports that the Browns are out of it for Kirk Cousins. What are you hearing about the teams that are actually in the mix for that talent?
Yeah, that is my understanding, that the Browns are really not going to be in the mix for Cousins. At this point, it's going to be the Arizona Cardinals.
So why aren't the Browns interested in Kirk Cousins? Maybe they have all these draft picks. Can save them a lot of money. Oh wait, when was this? Okay, that was March 4th. March 4th, right. This is March 8th. Pro Football Focus. They do a lot of analytics.
Yeah, we do love it, and one of the things I love about
teams
your work
actually
is not
hire
only do you
these
provide the
guys
teams with this great data that not everyone has access to, not only do you guys put that work in, you also put stuff out for the fans, and one of the things you do specifically is this mock draft every year, and I look at all your draft stuff because you put together a great binder every year, and I go through it with all the PFF numbers, but your mock drafts are not cookie cutter, they're not cut and dry, they're not the stuff that you're going to see on NFL.com from Jeremiah, myself, and the rest. Yours are out of the blue, and I love this because I know you did the work. So let's look at your top 10, which is very unique. Number 1 to the Browns, Baker Mayfield. Number 3, Maurice Hurst, the defensive tackle out of Michigan, is a guy that some mock drafts don't even have in the first round. Saquon Barkley going number 7. So let's just start it off up top. Baker Mayfield's viewed in many circles around the league as maybe the 3rd or 4th guy on their boards at the quarterback position. You have him number 1 overall to the Browns. Steve, break it down.
So we've graded every single play on every snap in FBS over the last 4 years. Baker Mayfield has been by far the most productive quarterback. So throw for throw, better than everybody. The top 2 grades we've ever given in a season was 2016 and 2017. And look, I've looked for issues with his game, and beyond his 6-foot frame, there's not much. I mean, he makes all the throws. He makes NFL throws despite this system. That does make it a little bit easier for him at times. He makes tight window throws. He's great under pressure. He's great against the blitz. Every way you slice Baker Mayfield in our numbers, he always comes out on top.
Okay, so number 1 to the Browns. Now, one thing that your numbers might not equate for, and it's very hard to quantify.
He can throw over 60 yards.
Personality is very unique, and it's very bold. Do you put that stuff in there? And I know you talk to teams. Like, I like Baker Mayfield. I think a lot of teams love that, but it's not everyone's cup of tea.
I've talked to teams in the same team, in the same front office, where one guy is scared to death that they might have to face Baker Mayfield, like, please don't put him in our division, and the other guy's, you mentioned the attitude, like, I don't know if he's got it, I don't know if, because they want a CEO at quarterback, a lot of the teams, but I think his attitude is this, just don't doubt me attitude. I mean, he walked on.
A lot of teams are going to like that.
Started as a freshman. That's incredible.
Chip on his shoulder.
I don't want to be the one that doubts Baker Mayfield. That's where I land on that whole spectrum as far as his attitude. But I think it works for him.
Well, let's get into this because everybody's scared to death of Saquon too, and we talk a lot about where to draft running backs.
So that was March 8th, and this was February 4th of 2018. Stories first reported by ESPN. Cohen could lead a charge to take Baker Mayfield with the first or fourth pick in the draft. Okay, During an interview in October, long before he had any link to the Browns, Cohen compared the former Oklahoma quarterback to Brett Favre, and throughout the rest of the college year, he did very well, did great, did better than last year. He won the Heisman, of course, this year. Rosen, Green Bay. So this guy really likes Brett Favre, and he really likes Baker Mayfield, and he's going to be maybe the draft guru for the Browns. So you tell me, you don't want to listen to this stuff anywhere close to the draft, even the combine. They're gonna be putting out BS. I think you have to look at during the college year. So that's my take. So I think we saw enough.